Welcome to the morning after Week 13 playoff preview edition. We have a busy show today, so I'll get right to it. Not going to have the top free agent pickup because there's not a whole lot really left. There's no Griff Stripes this week. So there's a lot of other stuff, so we will keep it going right away and get into the action from last week. First of all, Team Price is Right defeated the Little Big Men 68-47. The Team Price is Right moved to 9-4, which is impressive considering they started 2-4. They've now won 7 straight. Drew Brees led them with 18 points. Buck Allen for Team LBM, the nice pickup he had at 15 points, as he's proven to be a good receiver and looks like he may be the Ravens' option next year, at least like 1A. Team LBM now getting ready for the consolation round and the Jim Shavina consolation belt. Also, we saw this week Team Cardinals take down the Garbage Men 83.5 to 52.5. Cardinals have tied the record for the most wins in a season and also the best winning percentage in years. They went 11-2, led by Tom Brady's 27. Odell Beckham Jr. had another 14 points for the second straight week. Been very consistent. Garbage Men still do hang on to make the playoffs, as we'll see further on, as they will be the 6th seed. Horn Dogs win 66.5 to 58 over the Kongs. Was it the Kongs' last regular season game? We'll have to see. Antonio Brown had 18.5 points. Horn Dogs also make the playoffs after starting 0-4, only the second defending champion to make the playoffs after an 0-4 start. Not many teams have done that, so congratulations to the Horn Dogs there. Russell Wilson for the Kongs had 25.5 points, as he has really played up to his potential the last couple weeks now. A little too late for the Kongs, unfortunately, though. We saw the Bone Storm take down the Dingoes 82 to 57. The Bone Storm moved to 10-3 and secured the number 2 seed. Allen Robinson in another huge day with 26.5 points. Cam Newton with an awesome performance at 29.5 points, but that was about all for the Dingoes as they fall to 5-8 and miss the playoffs. And a heartbreaker for the Badgers. A win would have put them in the playoffs. They lost to the Bucks 87.5 to 81.5. Carson Palmer had 16 points for the Badgers, as this whole team was pretty consistent all around. The Bucks were led by Blake Bortles, 27 points, and unfortunately for the Bucks, they had the third highest points, but unfortunately do not make the playoffs. In a rare instance of that happening, I think only one other time anyone's finished with the third highest points and not made the playoffs. And this week we also saw the Bruisers take down the Gargoyles, 81 to 59.5. The Gargoyles were led by Ben Roethlisberger's 25 points. Unfortunately for the Gargoyles, they now have the longest playoff drought in the league, as they haven't made the playoffs since 2012. And Andy Dalton and Doug Baldwin had 35 points combined to lead the Bruisers. Loss, and they would have... No, they still would have made the playoffs. It would have been close, though. But they do secure the number 5 seed. So there we have the playoff field set. We'll take a look at the Player of the Week and the Walk of Shame. Player of the Week this week goes to Cam Newton with 5 touchdowns, 331 yards passing, 49 rushing yards, and 29.5 points. Granted, it was against the Saints defense. But still, a heck of a performance by Cam. Is right now probably the NFL MVP frontrunner. Had a heck of a week there. Walk of Shame, unfortunately, goes to Bites' Badgers. They started the year 4-0. They then dropped 7 of their last 9, and in a heartbreaking fashion, they missed the playoffs due to scoring their highest point total of the year. But they played the team who had the high points for the week, as the Bucks did that. So unfortunately for the Badgers, they end up at 6-7. Disappointing year. A good start, but ended poorly. Probably, right now, I'm going to say the consolation round favorite, just as the team looks like it's coming together, especially with David Johnson now running. They could be tough in the consolation round. It's a team that most of us are probably happy that are in the playoffs that did not make the playoffs. We'll take a look at the playoff preview now, kind of look at where the teams stand and some history about each team as their playoffs. First of all, Chris's Cardinals, myself, the number 1 seed. Career record of 25-9 in the playoffs. 17. This is my 18th playoff trip in 22 years. 8-time champion. And strengths, Tom Brady, I put that as a question mark because if Gronk isn't back, it's hard to say how that's going to go. He didn't do terribly well until garbage time in this game. So he had the Blake Bortles effect there of struggling in the first half but coming on in the fourth quarter and putting up a lot of yards. Although Bortles wasn't so much the case this week, but other weeks has done that. Doug Martin has been fantastic lately, and my receivers, again, that could probably be a question mark as well. Fitzgerald, Julio Jones, and Gronk. Weaknesses, is Gronk going to be back for the playoffs? That's a big question. He's most likely not going to play this week, so it'll be up in the air for week 15, whether or not he plays. I really hope he does. And my weakness also is flex. Jeremy Langford is okay, but nothing special. Bone Storm at 4-3. This is their 4th playoff appearance. Last year's runner-up. Strengths at receiver and running back. Pretty solid all around there. Not a whole lot of weaknesses there. Defense is not really good on that team. Kind of has a streamer effect. Jets, the Texans, who've been You never know. I mean, defense is hard to predict, but you kind of can tell some of the teams that are doing a little better. But okay defenses, but nothing special. And the quarterback situation was stronger with Phillip Rivers, but due to all the injuries on the team is now not what it was. Team Price is Right in their first playoff appearance in their first year in the league. Their strengths, Drew Brees, most weeks has been pretty darn good, and their strengths are at running back, with Adrian Peterson and LaShawn McCoy arguably 2 of the top 5 running backs in fantasy right now. Weaknesses is receivers, but again, that's a little bit better right now. Funchess, Devontae Parker, it's been a little bit better, and Michael Floyd, assuming he stays healthy. It's an improving. It's still not good. It's still probably the worst receiving core in the league, but it does have some potential. Flex position also is a little bit of a question mark, although McFadden did come on at the end of the game last week with his only a second game without Romo, and he kind of struggled the first one. So really not too much of a weakness there. He'll play the Garbage Men, who are the 6th seed. They're 4-5. They're making their 6th playoff appearance. They were runner-up in 2011 and 2013. Strengths, Odell Beckham, very good. Mike Evans has got some potential too. He's a pretty good number 2 receiver. Strengths also at running back. He's quite deep there with DeMarco Murray, LeGarrette Blount, and D'Angelo Williams. DeMarco Murray, kind of don't know from week to week, but has potential to really have a good game. He's been streaming defenses as well, and that's not strength of his team. I never know, could hit it right in 1 week, but could be a problem. And then quarterback is a weakness. Jay Cutler, very hit and miss from week to week. Brock Osweiler is on the bench, more of a game manager. But the rest of his team does have potential. That matchup this week could come down to matchups of who plays whom. In terms of points between the two of them on the year, they were both pretty even in terms of overall points. Team Price is Right is riding a 7-game win streak, though. Horn Dogs are the 7-5. They're the defending champion. Also, they won a previous championship as well. This is their 8th playoff appearance. Strengths are at wide receiver with Antonio Brown, Demaryius Thomas, although disappointing year, but he's still a beast and he could go off at any time. Emmanuel Sanders, Sammy Watkins, pretty good. Also has the number 1 defense in fantasy in the Denver Broncos. Weakness is also at quarterback. Matt Stafford, Brian Hoyer, Stafford, you never know how he's going to do from week to week. Also, we have a weakness at running back. It was looking better. Sharkandrick West has kind of fallen into a timeshare. So it's not what it was, a little bit ago. Also some injuries. Deion Lewis's injury has been a negative for him. But still, Horn Dogs could be pretty tough, and that actually the weakness could become a strength down the road. He'll take on the Bruisers this week. Again, both teams pretty similar in points. The Horn Dogs do have them in points by a little bit. Bruisers are 1-4 in their playoffs. They were runner-up in 2001. This is their 5th playoff appearance. Strengths, Andy Dalton has been pretty good this year. Top 5 quarterback. Running backs are awful good. Thomas Rawls and Mark Ingram. Rawls, if you project that through a whole year as a top 10 running back. Mark Ingram has been, I believe, top 5 this year. And DeAndre Hopkins has been a top 3 receiver. He's got some potential on the rest of his receivers. Little bit of a question to see how they do long term or from week to week. So that's kind of somewhere in the middle between strength and weakness. Weakness also at flex, Danny Woodhead, and the Chargers not really playing how they have earlier on in the year. They're kind of struggling. And also Andy Dalton. I know I said it was a strength earlier, but he's still Andy Dalton and still scares, I think, everybody, is that he could have a bad Andy performance of 3 points any week. But you never know. He's kind of on both of them there. Again, that's a game that could go either way, depending on matchups. I don't know who has the better matchups this week. Whoever probably plays the Saints will have a big advantage. But that'll be an interesting one to see. Remember, next week then, the lowest remaining seed will play myself. And then there is also if there's a tie, the higher seeded team will win, except if it's in the Super Bowl, and then that'll go by bench points. Since we previewed the playoffs, we also have to preview the consolation round. Previous winners are shown there. Griff's Gargoyles is looking for a three-peat in the consolation round. Previously, for a while there, it was whoever had missed out on the playoffs and won the consolation round did make the playoffs the following year, until Griff has now won it 2 straight years and failed to make the playoffs both years. Griff, you've broken that trend. But we will have to see how it all plays out this year as they play for the tremendously important Jim Shavina consolation belt. The prize money breakdown right now, since I had 4 high point wins this year, I get $15, and also since I had the most points in the year, and I did set the record with 76 points per week and earned $60. I had 5 more points this week than the Badgers last year did, so that's why I slightly eked by you bites to get that record back. Although it is an asterisk because it's now with flex and half-point scoring. Also, any team that advances to the next round will earn at minimum $75. So the Bone Storm and the Cardinals have each also won $75. Top games next week, obviously, it is Team Price is Right versus the Garbage Men and the Horn Dogs versus the Bruisers. And then also looking at next week, we will do the all-fantasy team. I did talk about the tiebreaker earlier, and remember, if you did not make the playoffs or if you get eliminated from this one, the playoffs, you do have another game that can earn a few more dollars. But finally, week 17, no matter what, anyone's can win an extra $20 in the Battle Royal. Just high points for the team that week gets the $20. So that's our show this week. It was a jam-packed edition, one of our best editions, I think, ever. So thanks for watching. Tune in next week. Good luck to everybody, and see you later.